The most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our...
Things just took a dramatic turn over at The View, and if you love a good behind-the-scenes meltdown, you might want to grab some popcorn. Joy Behar, the show's most outspoken and controversial panelist, is officially out. But this isn't some quiet, graceful exit. No, it's messy. The real shocker? Karoline Leavitt just came forward, claiming she played a key role in Behar's sudden departure. Now, ABC is in full damage control mode as The View's ratings take a nosedive. Meanwhile, Joy is reportedly furious, blindsided by the way everything went down. This isn't just another cast shakeup, it could be the moment that unravels the entire show. So, what exactly happened behind the scenes? What move did Karoline make that forced ABC's hand? And without Joy Behar's signature drama, can The View even survive?
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Here is Joy objectifying the White House press secretary, saying she only has the job because she's hot.
Joy Behar's exit from The View is sending shockwaves through the daytime TV world. Love her or hate her, she's been the show's fiery centerpiece for decades, fueling debates, stirring up controversy, and delivering those headline-making clashes. And just like that, she's gone. But was this a long overdue decision, a calculated move, or a blindsiding power play that no one saw coming? ABC is reportedly in crisis mode, scrambling to keep The View afloat as ratings take a hit. Let's be honest, this show thrives on drama. Without Joy's signature shade-throwing and heated confrontations, will viewers even stick around? Some say this was a smart move, while others claim it's the biggest mistake ABC could make. So what really happened? This latest shakeup isn't just another routine cast change. It all centers around Karoline Leavitt, no stranger to controversy herself. Unlike the usual political figures The View takes on, Karoline isn't one to play by the rules. A rising conservative star and the youngest White House press secretary in history, she's unapologetically bold, sharp, and refuses to bow to the show's usual tactics. And that's exactly what made this showdown explosive. The View has a history of going after conservative women, but this time, they picked a fight they weren't ready for. Joy Behar, never one to hold back, went low. But what she didn't realize, Karoline was more than ready to fire back, and what followed may have been the final nail in the coffin for Joy's time on.
A woman for her looks or age isn't very progressive. Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Garda. Kosha, particularly that last clip that we played, it was so condescending. The way that she was scolding her as if she was a schoolgirl, suggesting she needed to do her homework. I find it so hypocritical when these so-called, caring, progressive voices just turn so nasty.
It definitely highlights that there are differing perspectives in the media. While The View has built its reputation on heated debates and strong opinions, it's always interesting to see when someone pushes back or disrupts the usual narrative. Karoline Leavitt's rise and the support she's getting from figures like Kosha show that there's a broader conversation happening beyond just what's aired on daytime TV. Do you think this shakeup will have a lasting impact on The View, or is it just another media firestorm? Next, Voice 4. Joy Behar took things to a whole new low, and I mean embarrassingly low. With that signature smug, dismissive attitude, she didn't just challenge Karoline Leavitt's views, she went after her entire career. Joy stripped away everything Karoline had worked for, reducing it to nothing more than her looks. She outright insinuated that Karoline didn't earn her position through talent, experience, or intelligence, but was merely a pretty face handpicked by Donald Trump. Even for The View, this was bad. The moment those words left Joy's mouth, you could feel the tension in the room. The audience gasped. Her co-hosts, who usually nod along in agreement, shifted uncomfortably in their seats. You know it's bad when even your own side doesn't want any part of the mess you just created. It was one of those rare, cringeworthy moments where you could almost see the regret creeping in before the backlash even started. And once that clip hit social media, there was no turning back. What Joy didn't expect was Karoline's response. Most people in her position might have let it slide, maybe fired off a tweet, issued a quick statement, and moved on. But not Karoline. She wasn't about to let Joy get away with it. Instead of playing the victim or whining about how unfair it was, she went straight on the offensive, and she didn't hold back. The first thing she did? She called out The View's blatant hypocrisy when it comes to so-called women's empowerment.
You mentioned with conservative women, there's a long list of that, both of Trump's previous press secretaries, females, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kayleigh McEnany, other figures like his campaign manager the first time, Kellyanne Conway, Sarah Palin very famously had to bear the brunt of a lot of this. So people are used to that. I think in their bubble of the audience that The View speaks to, that's probably kind of what the group think is. So one defense, I guess, is that she was speaking to her audience, but you take it outside of that bubble the way you are right now, and we all can see.
They love to preach about supporting strong, independent women who break barriers and challenge the system. But the second a woman doesn't fit their approved mold, she becomes fair game for personal attacks. Suddenly, it's acceptable to mock her, belittle her, and reduce her entire career to nothing more than her looks. Karoline Leavitt refused to stay silent. She didn't just respond, she exposed exactly what was happening. She called out The View for their hypocrisy, making it clear that this wasn't about her qualifications. It was about control. She didn't fall in line with their ideology, and instead of debating her ideas, they took the lazy way out, attacking her personally. It was a move they would never dare make against a woman on their own side. That's when the backlash exploded. And it wasn't just conservatives speaking out, people across the spectrum called out the double standard. Even longtime fans of The View admitted Joy Behar had crossed a line. It became impossible to ignore. Karoline didn't just defend herself, she turned the tables. Instead of her qualifications being questioned, it was The View's credibility that came under fire. ABC felt the heat immediately, scrambling behind the scenes to contain the fallout. This wasn't just another controversy. It was the kind of moment that forces a network to make real decisions. Then things took an even bigger turn. This wasn't just about one bad segment. It was about power, influence, and who really pulls the strings.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
Karoline took action where it hurt most, ABC's bottom line. She didn't just call out the show's hypocrisy, she hit them with a massive lawsuit that sent executives into full-blown panic mode. This wasn't just about an on-air insult. She filed a defamation and character assassination lawsuit, accusing Joy Behar of spreading lies with the intent to ruin her reputation. When those legal papers landed on ABC's desk, the situation escalated instantly. ABC knew right away this wasn't a scandal they could brush off with a scripted apology or a press release. This was much bigger. And the fallout was just beginning.
Oh, and I couldn't do that at 27. No nonsense, straight to the point, courage, detail.
ABC was facing a legal nightmare that could cost them millions. If Karoline won her lawsuit, it wouldn't just dent their bank account, it would shatter The View's credibility. A lawsuit of this magnitude would leave a permanent stain on the show, trapping them in a legal battle for years. Worse yet, there was no way to quietly settle this behind closed doors. Panic spread through ABC's executive offices. Internal emails flew back and forth, emergency phone calls ran through the night, and tensions escalated by the hour. This was no longer just about money, it was about survival. Could The View withstand the storm while this scandal unfolded?
Check this.
So, you cannot be attractive and smart? I will try to give Joy the benefit of, well, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing. Because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her own.
I mean, you would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Karoline Leavitt before she made that remark.
Joy Behar had no idea what was coming. She likely sat back, assuming this was just another controversy that would pass in a few days. But then, things took a devastating turn. The moment Karoline's lawsuit went public, social media exploded. The reaction was swift, intense, and ruthless. Fans didn't just support Karoline, they mobilized like an army with a mission. Hashtags like Cancel the View and Fire Joy Behar dominated every platform, racking up millions of mentions. And it wasn't just conservative voices speaking out, some of the View's own liberal audience turned on them, admitting Joy had finally gone too far. That's when ABC went into full-blown damage control.
I mean, she went to St. Anselm College. She worked for WMUR
Ran for
TV.
Congress?
In New Hampshire, she ran for Congress at the age of 25, put on a very good campaign. She lost by 8 or 9 points, but she still put on a good campaign. Then she was the press secretary for the Trump campaign, going on TV literally every day.
Well, heavily pregnant and a new mom.
Yeah.
Network insiders reported sheer chaos. Executives scrambled to contain the fallout as sponsors grew nervous. Major advertisers, the financial backbone of the show, began reconsidering their partnerships. ABC held back-to-back emergency meetings, desperate to find a way to stop the bleeding. Then, the unthinkable happened. The backlash was too intense, the pressure too overwhelming. And for the first time, Joy Behar, once seen as untouchable, became expendable. The same network that had defended her through scandal after scandal now saw her as a liability. But ABC didn't want to make it obvious. They knew that outright firing Joy would only fuel speculation and backlash. Instead, they orchestrated a quiet exit. Behind the scenes, network executives pressured her to step down on her own terms, crafting the illusion that she was leaving voluntarily after years of hosting. But in reality, she was pushed out. Plain and simple. When the news broke, the entertainment industry was stunned. For decades, Joy had ruled The View with an iron grip, weathering controversy after controversy. But this time, there was no escape. The lawsuit, the public outrage, the advertisers pulling out, it was too much, even for ABC. Karoline's supporters erupted in celebration. Social media lit up once again, this time with hashtags like Joy Behar fired. On the flip side, die-hard fans of The View were furious. Some felt betrayed by ABC, demanding they reverse their decision. Others turned their anger toward the network itself. It was pure chaos. And Joy? Insiders say she was absolutely livid. She never saw this coming, never imagined ABC would turn on her. For years, she had believed she was too big to be taken down. But in the end, not even she could withstand the firestorm.